Thank you so much for coming out. My name is Eugenia Sakir, and I'm with the Working Class Alliance, and my other half has not gotten here yet, but she is on her way. So at this time, I just wanted to let you know we are partnering with Consumer Credit Counseling Services. I have Kathy Banks, which is the Director of Counselors, and also Regina Smith, also on the counseling staff. So they have expertise information for those of us who have gone through or are going through the foreclosure process. We started this out of an advocacy group, considering I personally was going through struggles. So we wanted to get the information out because you really can't do this work by yourself. You really need a third party. Unfortunately, the banks just act like we don't exist. We existed prior to getting the loan. We were very important, but once things started getting bad and we couldn't make payments, that's when they started turning deaf ears. And these folks at Consumer Credit Counseling Services are excellent in their being able to help you get through the process, because that's what it is. It's a process, and the process is very painful. However, you can survive. So I will turn it over to you, Ms. Banks.
I'll just give you a brief introduction, and then I'm going to let Regina talk a little bit about some of the more specific information about the programs that we offer. We're very fortunate in North Carolina to have what we call the Mortgage Payment Program, or MPP. And this particular program is part of the North Carolina Home Foreclosure Prevention Project, which is actually a partnership between U.S. Treasury and the North Carolina Housing Finance Agency. They put their heads together to create this program with some federal funds that came to our state. The reason that it came to our state was because we have such a high unemployment rate throughout. We actually have two groups of counties. One is hardest hit counties, and there are about 50 hardest hit counties. And you can get a little bit more money if you live in a hardest hit. But for Forsyth County, we're not considered hardest hit, even though we also have a high unemployment rate. It's not as high as some of our surrounding counties. So, does everyone live in Forsyth that's here tonight? Davidson. Well, Davidson is hardest hit. I believe that it is. So, in Davidson, you can get a little bit higher maximum. As in Forsyth, you can get, and other counties that are not hardest hit, it's a little bit lower. But the purpose of this program is to help people have some time to become reemployed if they've lost their job, either through no fault of their own. It might be also that their income was reduced because of a divorce or the death of a spouse. But mostly the people who apply for the program are people who've been laid off, and they're eligible for unemployment benefits. And over time they know that those benefits are going to run out. We have some difficulties right now, especially with our unemployed clients, as far as having hope for a loan modification, because without having a stable income, the servicers will not consider you for a loan modification. So that's really the hang-up that we run into, and that's why this program is so important. And it allows you to get a loan. It's at 0%, but it is forgivable over time. So the chances are you would not have to repay this loan, especially if you were in your house for 10 years. It would be completely forgiven if you remain in the home for 10 years. So given that, I'm going to let Regina talk to you a little bit about the various options that are available as far as what we might offer in a foreclosure prevention counseling session. This program is not for everyone, but we have found that it is for a lot of people, and so far we've had 257 people in the counties that we cover be able to receive loans and keep their homes through this program. So we feel like it's really the best thing that we've had to offer for quite a while. So with that, Regina does the hands-on counseling, and she knows the details, and she knows the typical counseling process that you would go through if you came in for a session. So I'm going to let her talk a little bit about those things.
Hi, my name's Regina again, and everybody's different, you know, because sometimes people come in, well, my neighbor got this, so, you know, I want to get the same thing, but everybody's different, so we have to look at everybody's situation, you know, uniquely that one person's situation. You have to do, you know, look at your income. We could ask you to fill out some papers, look at your income, go through your budget, and, you know, and see what monies you have available. And also we would assess your income, because some people are trying to get loan modifications, but, you know, if I know we've all heard about President Obama's HAMP, which is 31% of your gross income. So that's why it's so important for each person to come in so we can look at their particular situation, because sometimes they may not understand, well, I'm trying to get a loan modification, but I'm not getting approved, and I don't know what's going on, and it's been 6 months, it's been a year, and I haven't gotten anywhere. So we feel like it's a good idea when you first start getting into trouble is to contact us, let us do the budget and the income, so you won't be struggling trying to go through that process, you know, and explain everything to you, what that company's looking for. If you don't qualify for the HAMP modification, to say you got behind, you don't qualify for the HAMP, they may have their own in-house modification. But the bottom line is you gotta get the paperwork in. That's a very essential part of it, and just having, being able to leave a paper trail, you know, having your bank statements, pay stubs, things like that, going back and leaving a paper trail. And I always tell people, you know, if they tell you don't make a payment, don't, you know, do not sit there and not make a payment. If you can't make a payment, try to save something towards it, because you don't want that mortgage to keep going and you're getting further and further behind it, and you're not putting away anything for the house. So we want to make sure that, number one, you can afford to stay in it. You know, we want you to have a comfortable life. You want to be able to pay your living expenses, you know, have lights, water. Mm-hmm. But sometimes we have people that they just can't keep it all going, because, you know, somebody may have made $60,000 last year, but now they're only making $20,000. Mm-hmm. So, you know, we try to assess the situation and give them their options. If you can't stay in the home, they also have other options where if you're trying to sell it, or they will let you do a short sale. And they will even forgive that debt if you can't sell it for the full amount, instead of just letting it go into foreclosure. And they also have something called a deed in lieu, where you ask the mortgage company to sign it over because you can't afford to keep it. You don't want it to go into foreclosure, and you're wanting to be able to start again. That's also forgivable. So you have a lot of options. Sometimes people can stay in their homes, get the loan modification. If they can't do a loan modification, they may say, well, you got $200 extra left a month, so we're going to increase your payment for a year by $200, so you can make that payment. You know, loan modification, payment arrangement. But if you can't afford to stay in there, then you may want to look at asking them for a short sale or a deed in lieu. And you stay in the home while you're trying to do all of this. You don't move out, you stay in so you can get the full benefits. If, you know, just like if you got the deed in lieu, they may even give you money to move, so you can start over. And then, you know, you wouldn't owe them anything, and that looks better. And you may be able to start again 2 years down the road. You may get another job. And then, you know, oh, I'll buy another house. So, you know, sometimes we can't get a yes, or we can't fix it now, but we may be able to say, help me transition out of this home. I know I can't afford it. Can we call the mortgage company and let me try to put it on the market and sell it? Or help me call and ask for a deed in lieu, and help me fill out the paperwork. And we'll help you through all of those steps, you know. if you're staying in a home, if you're transitioning out. And we don't want people to like give up hope, but we don't want you to just suffer and try to pay for something and you're always gonna be short. You know, you don't wanna keep every month, you're $400 or $500 short trying to pay everything. We want you to have a good quality of life, and sometimes we gotta fall back and then move forward. But we help you through all of those transitions. So, we want you to, like I said, have a good life, but be able to, get the best and make the best decisions for you as far as you and your home and your future. Because, of course, you can own your own home, but, if you end up having to let that home go, it is some other alternatives out there. So, we can help you through all of those situations, but we would want to look at everybody's situation separately, because she may be able to afford, to keep hers going where she may not, but we just try to look at each person's situation. And we'll send you the paperwork to fill out, and you come in and we do your budget and we look at everything, and then we get on the phone and we call the mortgage company. And we go from there.